Welcome to the KC Stars podcast, where we talk to people in the local Kansas City film community. And I have Lily. Can you say your last name for me?
Yeah, Gojcevic.
Say it again.
Gojcevic.
Gojcevic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first things first. What do you do in the film industry?
Oh gosh, a little bit of everything. I like to dabble in as many things as I can. I got started in acting, mainly film acting. That's kind of my home. And then I started to branch out into sketch comedy and improv. I got to go to Second City in Toronto, which was crazy ride. I also got involved in some modeling a little bit of runway, commercial stuff. So yeah, I've been everywhere, it feels like.
Wow, that's great. And I was thinking, like, looking at you and looking at me. I'm actually younger than you. So I didn't know Gojcevic, what nationality that is.
It's Croatian Serbian.
Croatian, sorry. Yeah, we're both 25. I'm 25, you're 26. I think that's right.
Oh yeah, you are a little bit younger than me then. Dang.
All right.
Well, enjoy it
So,
while it lasts.
what's that?
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, yeah, I'm still a kid. Um, all right, my bad jokes aside, how did you actually get started?
I started in some small acting classes that were here. There was a program in the Blue Valley School District where they brought acting coaches out from LA. So we got to work with them. There was a coach that I just really clicked with. She specializes in Meisner, so a lot of that honesty in your performance, a lot of connecting with your scene partner, which I think has served me really well. And it kind of just went from there.
Very good. So, were you in plays or films in high school?
I did a lot of plays in high school. I did start dabbling in comedy, but I know that my confidence wasn't there yet. I felt very comfortable in the heavier dramatic roles. So I'm really grateful that I got to branch out of that and explore comedy more as I got older. I started in a lot of local films. I think you're interviewing him next week, Tanner Smith. He is actually the first film director that I worked with, and he does a fantastic job of building a great community, a great production team that I'm happy to be a part of, Wild Horses Productions. And that's been, I think, the basis of my film stuff.
That's awesome. And I do want to ask one request. If you can
Mhm.
turn your camera so you're exactly in the middle because
Oh, yeah.
it's going to chop off the edges, I know. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, and Tanner Smith is great. I've worked with him a few times. I'm more like the father or the uncle type. Um, so maybe I'll be your father someday in a thing, or
Maybe.
your uncle, because I think I'm scheduled to be his father in something, and I was
Oh,
someone
cool.
else's father in something else. So yeah.
Yeah, and you were in Wicked Deeds recently too, right? One of the
Yes, yes, yes. Are
roles.
you in that as well?
Yeah, I play Kristen, so I'm the love interest for Spencer.
Oh, very
Yeah.
cool.
So we'll
Very
probably
cool.
bump into each other at some point on set.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I talk to everybody about it, and I will tell you, like, I have you are probably my 26th interview, 27th interview, something around there, and I have been in either scenes or been directed by 24 of the people, or 23, try 23 of the people, 23.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had seen your I'd seen your stuff and I saw that you were on the cover of a film, and that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you. And let me show you what I have here. I'm going to share the
Yeah.
screen. What is this?
Oh, that was a very fun runway modeling show. I think that was last year. It's from the American Beauty Vision Awards. So it's specifically for hairstyling and all art related to hair. So that headpiece was all handmade by a hairstylist, Rusty Phillips, who is phenomenal. It was amazing watching him put these pieces together in real time. It was definitely as heavy as it looked. It took some
Wow.
balancing on that runway, and the gown was just a blast to wear. That was by, I think, Lucia Sarto, who I adore. So that was a great time to get to wear that.
Well, very cool. What is going on here? I think that's Tanner.
That is Tanner. So this is for a movie we are currently working on. We just finished our reshoots. It is called Get On With It. It's kind of like a coming of age rom-com, and this is something that Tanner, Rachel Kowicki, and I all wrote together, and it was really fun. This one has a special place in my heart because I got to have a lot of influence in the writing and the production side and a lot of the character arcs, and this was something that we all really came together and collaborated on because we've helped each other out with projects before, but this was the first thing that was like a true team effort.
Yeah, that's awesome. Rachel Klowicki is absolutely wonderful, and Tanner is so wonderfully collaborative. I think you're involved with a great team there.
Yeah, I adore both of them. And something that I really appreciate about Tanner as a director, and I'm sure you've experienced this, is his openness to whatever you feel like doing in a scene, go for it. As long as it feels true to the character, as long as it feels honest, he is so open to ideas and improvisation. And I think that's a huge credit to what has kept me enjoying acting and what's helped me grow as a performer.
That's awesome. What do we have here?
So this is a sketch I wrote while I was actually training at Second City, Toronto. This sketch is one that's very special to me, so I was unbelievably excited when you picked it out. It's called Construction Workers, and so it's kind of a spoof on those stereotypical breakups, but it's with two very rowdy, burly, like Bronx construction workers having a workplace breakup.
That's hilarious. And this is a very different picture than the last one. What is
Yeah,
this?
very different vibe. So this is from a promo shoot from a sketch show that is coming up. It's called The Black Card Experience. We've done some shows in San Francisco and New York and here in Kansas City, and we got confirmed to go to the UK in a couple of weeks, which feels insane that it's that fast. Oh my God. Um, so this was our little promo shoot of, hey, we're doing this thing, and this is a group of girls that I love very dearly. Kat Gary, the one who's the mastermind behind all of this, she was actually my mentor when I first wanted to get started in comedy. She's the one who got me involved in sketch and has just been like one of my biggest cheerleaders.
That is wonderful. And you're going to the UK, you said. That's great.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a big trip. I will also be going back to Switzerland for a couple of weeks, which will be a blast. When I was there, I got to dabble in a couple of comedy shows. May or may not have gotten talked into doing stand up for a little bit. Yeah, it'll be nice to see everybody again and get back into that space because something I'm really grateful for in my comedy experience is getting to go to other countries and see how other countries do comedy. Canada specifically has had a massive influence on me in the way that I do things, and I would not have it any other way.
That's awesome. And this is what kind of drew my attention. Another Horses Productions fellowship. And there you are on the front cover with my buddy Dylan Latham. Tell me what's going on here.
Great. This was a fun role. I got to be absolutely wild and have every emotion to a 10. Something I really like about this film, and I think we're going to have a premiere of it sometime in December. It's very heartfelt and it's very focused on seeing the humanity in everyone. The main character, I don't want to spoil too much, but Nora, who I play, is struggling with being homeless and a lot of other very ugly but real life situations that a lot of people go through. And Dylan plays a pastor who also, Dylan is just a great scene partner to have. He was so supportive in a lot of things and just great to play off of. And so he gives her a chance and they both kind of help each other.
That is awesome. And uh, were you like the main person this was about, Fellowship?
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Yeah, that's a fantastic role. And what is this? I can see Kansas City Fashion in the background, even though it's kind of blurred, but I can see it's the Kansas City Fashion Show.
Mm-hmm. So I have done a couple of seasons of Kansas City Fashion Week, which they put so much into every production. It is an insanely well-oiled machine. Even when you go into fittings and rehearsals, they have everything so crystal clean. So this was a designer that I model for pretty frequently, architecture. She always has these very simple but fun outfits. There's always bold structures and bold lines. And she's a generous designer. We always get little gift bags, and we do get to take pieces home with us sometimes.
Oh,
So I
wow.
do have a skirt from another show that she made.
That is very cool that she does that.
Yeah, she's great.
And what is this?
This was on one of my better days of doing silks. So, as a hobby, I got really into aerial arts and circ, mainly silks. So, this is just something that I enjoy. It makes working out fun, but it's also something that's just a beautiful art form. And hopefully, one day I can get to the point where I'm not face planning for half the class and I can actually get a full routine down. But I have just, again, found a great community of people through that. And when I travel, I have gotten to try silks and acro and other places. I actually got to train at the Cirque du Soleil gym in Montreal, which was unbelievable watching the performers rehearse and everything. I did do flying trapeze for the first time. Um, I
Wow.
almost I almost passed out on the ladder because I looked down, but I'm like, listen, I'm already almost all the way up here. Might as well finish it out. So I'm glad I did.
That's awesome. And what is this?
So this is also from the Black Card experience. This was when we did Fringe Festival, I think. Oh God, I think that was already 2, 3 years ago. That was so long. So this was when we first started developing the show and making it into what it is. And again, every single girl in this group is so talented and such a powerhouse. It it really pushes you to be at your best on stage.
And I recognize Tiffany Michelle. There she
Mm-hmm.
is. She's an outstanding person. I really do like Tiffany. I think she's really great to work with,
Oh
um,
yeah.
as well as I know she's just very talented and funny. Um, so how you got with that group?
Mm-hmm.
How did you start this improv career? What started it?
Yeah. So I started with Kat, the girl in the middle of that last picture we looked at. She had put a post, I think it was on Facebook, of just, hey, group for women wanting to get into sketch comedy, no experience needed. And I was like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? Let me try it. And we have been like best friends ever since. And she was always very encouraging. And that was where I really started to build my confidence and get experience and get reps in with it. And then, COVID happened and we all got locked inside for a very long time. And during that, Second City started offering online classes. And I was like, well, I'm stuck in the house. I really don't have anything else to do. Again, what's the worst that could happen? Let me try it. And fast forward 2 years later of going through improv training and their conservatory, I ended up doing our finale show on the main stage of Second City Toronto, which was just an unbelievable experience getting to walk down the halls and see the pictures of like Catherine O'Hara and John Candy and Eugene Levy, just all of these amazing actors that I look up to.
Wow. So you were doing the classes online and you got invited to perform, or did you train, or what did you do there?
Yeah, so we trained as a group, and in the final round of conservatory, so that's where they taught us really writing sketch and how to produce our own shows. We got to the point of, okay, we're about to graduate, we have our final shows, and we talked to our directors and said, hey, could we do our final run of shows on the main stage? And by some miracle, they were like, yeah, you can do that if you guys can organize it. And so all six of us just got together, put our heads down, got to work, and we made it happen.
Wow, what a fantastic experience. Did you enjoy Toronto? Did you get to do anything fun while you were there? What did you do?
Oh, I love Toronto. I got to do a whole bunch of sightseeing, CN Tower. Gotta have poutine while you're there, obviously. Another Canadian food that I don't think gets enough love is beaver tails. I know it sounds a little weird. It's like a fried pastry dough with maple syrup and whatever toppings you want on it. Delicious. Getting to see other comedy shows in Toronto, getting to go to the beach, even though it was pretty cold. It's Canada in April. What are you gonna do? But it's it's a great place. I love it.
Yeah, the poutine, the maple syrup on everything and blueberries, just like Maine or New Hampshire. And then the last is Donaires. Did you ever have any Donaires while you were there?
No, what are those?
They're kind of like gyros, but the sauce is garlic cream sauce. Um,
Ooh.
they don't really, I've never really seen them in the US. I go to Canada 2 or 3 times a year for work. And
Oh, nice.
um, yeah, if you order an unsweet tea or you order a tea, it automatically is hot tea, or they say, "Oh, you're an American," because I do it on accident, because that's what I always order.
Yeah.
And because they if you order tea, it's hot tea. They don't do iced tea in Canada. So,
No.
but pretty much the same otherwise, by experience.
Yeah, it's a good time. What cities in Canada have you been to?
Well, it's for work, so sometimes I'm trapped, but I've been to Toronto, London, someplace in New Brunswick, Hamilton, uh, Red Deer,
Okay.
Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver. I mean, I've been all over Canada pretty much, like the lower, not to the territories,
Right.
but I've been to Manitoba before, and I didn't make it to Thunder Bay, but wherever's right in between Manitoba and Thunder Bay, I
Mm-hmm.
was it. So,
Well, cool.
so what do you like if you were going to say, someone said, "Tell me in one word what you are," what would you say?
I would say versatile.
Versatile. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. And I was wondering, like, do you view yourself as more of a writer or an improver? Like, which has brought you the most success?
I would say definitely comedy has brought me the most success. I feel like it's the most flexible. It's the easiest to travel with. You know, if I hop into another city, I can pretty easily find another comedy studio and say, "Hey, can I hop into a show while I'm here this week?" And they're like, "Yeah, come on in." Um, I think film is starting to pick up a little bit now that things are being released and having the opportunity to have things go to streaming. The reach of it is unbelievable.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a director in town it's kind of funny. In town, probably nobody hardly knows him, but out of town, he is doing sightings and being like the guest of honor and stuff, Todd Sheets. And
Mhm.
something that Todd had told me, he said, he's talking to another director, and it's the best time to make films, and it's the worst time because anybody can do it.
Mhm.
Which is pretty much true.
It is,
Um,
but some of those like rough movies like Velocipaster or whatever, they're a fun watch.
Very cool. Very cool. What do you want to accomplish?
I think way, way down the road, something that has always been a dream for me is I would love to produce some kind of limited series, would be a dream.
As the producer?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So, you're doing this writing now. Have you ever written anything before the project that you're currently working on?
I've only ever written stuff that was more sketch related. That's where I'm the most comfortable, but I would definitely continue with writing. And also having a great team again, like Tanner and Rachel, it was the best start I could have asked for.
Yeah. Have you done production? Do you ever get sites and do you do that role as well?
So again, with Get On With It, that was kind of my crash course into a lot of the production side. So location scouting, wardrobe, handling call sheets, all of those kinds of things. It's definitely a lot of work, and I would encourage anybody who's wanting to get into acting or any form of art, spend some time on the other side of the camera. It will give you such a more enlightened perspective of what the team needs from you as an actor. So yeah, I would always encourage people to do that.
Yeah. So what projects are you currently working on or do you have coming up?
So I have a few. In October, I am going to be doing a short film with Wendell Simmons and Amanda Blanchard called Pray for Prey. It's a short film. It's very absurd and kind of a satire on a whole lot of things, which right up my alley. That's something I enjoy. So I'm excited for that. I have a couple of things in the UK and Europe coming up. So Black Card Experience in the UK, a couple of comedy shows while I'm in Switzerland, and then I do have a swimwear modeling show with the designer Yetlux right before I leave at the end of October. So I'm really excited for that.
Wow, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of variety
Yeah,
with filming, modeling, and comedy and improv sketch.
yeah. I never get bored.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Are you on the Kansas side or the Missouri side?
I'm on the Kansas side.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You can wear the black hat. It's okay. It's still good. No, actually, Kansas is great. Where can we see your current work? Like what platforms?
There's a couple of places. So Wicked Deeds, as you know, is posted to YouTube. There's a couple of films that I have done that are on Amazon and Tubi. So I know Parallel is the big one. There's also Millennial with a Cane. I'd have to go back through my notes. It gets dizzying after a minute. I'm like, wait, which thing is where?
A lot of them end up in multiple places. I watched Millennial with a Cane a couple of years ago, probably. I thought it was absolutely beautiful movie. I mean, that was absolutely wonderful. What role did you play in that? I didn't know
So
you then, so I wasn't watching for you. So what?
I also had different hair then. So I played Lily Stevens, Delilah's best friend, and that was actually my first feature film role. And that was something that I did not know I was going to get. Initially, they had gone with another actress, but life happens, things changed, and Tanner reached out and was like, hey, would you still be open for this? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And just everyone on that cast and crew was phenomenal. And it was a great first film experience.
What was the biggest challenge of going from short films and plays and your experience in classes to a lead role?
I think the biggest challenge was, it's a very different set of skills performing on stage versus being on camera. It feels very strange because on stage you're going from one moment to the next. There's no stopping and starting. You are just in those emotional moments for the entirety of the scene. There's no break, but in film, you can be in the middle of this really ugly emotional moment and then they're like, okay, cut, we have to get the over the shoulder of the other one. So it was a bit of an adjustment to go through that.
Did you keep the emotion each time, even when it was over the shoulder for the other actors, or did you bring your emotion down when the camera wasn't on?
So for me, I try to keep the emotion at 100% as much as I can, because I'm sure you've experienced this on set, but you never know what could happen on camera. And there might be something that you end up doing at full emotion that sets the other person up to give their best performance.
Yeah, great. Um, on a totally different note, barbecue in Kansas City. You grew up in the Kansas
Yeah.
side. You're still in the Kansas side. So I'm going to have you give two.
Mhm.
What is the best barbecue? If you were going to recommend one place in Missouri and one place in Kansas, what would they be?
Okay, I did grow up on the Missouri side for a good chunk of my life. So I am a little biased. I grew up with Jack Stack and Gates. My thing when I travel is I always smuggle a little piece of barbecue sauce or like one of those mini barbecue sauce bottles from Gates. Everyone that I have brought that to from other countries has lost their minds and eaten the whole bottle within the first night.
You know, I also travel with Gates whenever I would travel for work. I have given away and I've mailed it to coworkers.
Hmm.
I have probably given away, I don't want to exaggerate, but I guarantee more than 50. I just don't know if it would be 100, but I've given away so much Gates barbecue over the years.
Yeah.
I love their sauce. It's the best sauce, I believe, as well.
Oh, it's delicious. At Gates Barbecue, if you'd like to sponsor us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm a huge Gates barbecue fan. I had coworkers in town, one from Georgia and one from New England, and we went to Gates to eat.
Hmm.
So what on the Kansas side? Now you're Kansas, and you were Kansas, at least at some point you said Blue Valley. So what's the Kansas barbecue?
This is tough. I would have to say, I think Q39 is pretty solid with the burn ends.
Okay. Do they have, are they in Missouri though?
I think they have a location in Kansas, but I'm not
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah,
sure.
actually, you probably say Gates is in both states. Q39, it sounds like it's in both states. Jack Stack, probably in both states. So,
Yeah.
yeah, very good. Yeah, I think people that don't live here don't realize the amount of crossover, like what you just said. I have
Hmm.
a cousin who grew up in Overland Park, now lives in Kansas City, Missouri. My daughter, one daughter lives in Springfield, my other daughter lives in Overland Park now. So, people go back and forth a lot here. Um,
Oh, yeah.
what what makes you stand out?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. I think one of my biggest strengths as a performer is I try to be as grounded and honest as possible in every performance that I give. And I think that goes back to my training with Meisner and really paying attention to my scene partners because no matter what I'm doing, it's not all about me. I I could give the best performance possible, but if I'm not helping my scene partner look good, then we're both not going to look our best.
That's a great answer. So, what's the hardest part about learning your lines?
Oh, memorization's a nightmare. Um,
No, I'll reword it. Tell me your process for learning your lines.
so one thing that really helps me when I'm learning my lines is remembering the beats of it before I remember the actual dialogue. And that kind of gives me a lead into, okay, this happens, so that line has to go somewhere in this area. And it's kind of like a puzzle. You start to fill in the pieces as you go once you feel comfortable with the beats. And then you start filling in the details of it. Another trick that Tiffany Michelle taught me is you learn your lines backwards. So you look at the script, you read the last line, and then you keep stacking on lines until you've done the entire scene backwards. And that has been such a game changer.
Wow, very good. How do you get into character? You talked about emotional characters. How
Hmm.
do you get that emotion out? Like, how do you develop that?
So there's a lot of when I first get a script, I try to look at the character with no judgment. Even, like my character in Wicked Deeds, she's not a great person, she's fun to play, but morally not great. And so taking that judgment away from it and looking at it from this character's perspective, because they all feel like no matter what they're doing, they feel like what they're doing is right, and trying to look at it from that perspective and then finding what would feel honest to them and finding their point of view on just a day in the life. What would, if they were to go shopping, what outfits would they pick out? If they were to go get coffee, what would their order be? If they were passing people on the street, what would their judgment of them be? And finding that character's honesty and tapping into that, I feel like leads to a lot of the really great emotional moments that I've had.
Excellent. Great answer. You've actually, all your answers have been great. But I
Thank
want to
you.
know, I'm going to keep it going. What
Yeah.
motivates you?
It's just something that I love more than anything. Because even if I didn't make any money from this, which again, the money that I do make, very small amount, but it's something that just sets me on fire. It's something that makes me really enjoy life. It's something that makes me want to push myself and learn more about myself. And you get to meet so many incredibly talented, wonderful people. Um, yeah, it's just something that I love.
So what is the hardest part about acting?
I think the hardest part is getting started, honestly. I remember feeling so lost and being like, okay, what, I want to do this, but what do I do? How do I do it? How does this work? And I think a big part of that is one, figuring out who you are, and two, being comfortable in who you are. Because something that can get really difficult is we're human, we all do it. We want to compare ourselves to other people, and it can bring out insecurities that otherwise wouldn't have been brought out. And there's a lot of just like, all right, we need to be secure in ourselves and just put our best foot forward.
Well, like we all have different looks. Like I look like I could be the boss or the father or the criminal or whatever, like that.
You got
What,
some range.
yeah, what are the parts that people see you in, and do you agree with them?
Yeah, so I definitely get some of like the lead kind of love interest parts, but what I really appreciate about the filmmakers who I work with who have given me those love interest or kind of more uh raunchy seductive parts is it's not just a caricature of that. It is a whole fleshed out person, and it gives me the ability to just take this character and go wild.
It's good. What would be if someone were to, like, you said down the road you'd like to be a producer,
Mm-hmm.
but if someone were to give you an acting role, what would be the part that I can play that one really well? This is the perfect part for me.
I think, in a sense, I kind of have gotten a taste of that with Michael Shedrick's series, Wicked Deeds. The character that he's written for me, Kristen, we've just kind of started to dive into her story, but when he gave me the description of her and her background, I'm like, oh, this girl's insane. I love it. She comes across as this very sweet but kind of dark, lovable character. And as the episodes go on, she is going to unravel a little bit. But right now, it's just a cute, sweet love story with her and Spencer.
Now, you said that it's almost like the perfect part for you is you start out sweet, you
Mm-hmm.
have a character arc, and you change. What do you change into?
I don't even know if it's changing, but you just get to see the whole of her. I love
Okay.
characters that go through all of these big changes and have to accept parts of themselves that maybe they didn't want to. I like characters that push me out of my comfort zone emotionally. Maybe this is a point of view that I wouldn't normally have, or this is an emotion or a situation that I wouldn't normally be in. But having one character just go through an absolute roller coaster of things is such a blast for me.
So you like to do multiple things. You get a chance to do your range. And is there anything out of your range, do you think?
I don't know yet. I feel like, there probably are things that are out of my range. I just haven't found them or been pushed to that point yet.
That's good. What's your plan after you finish all this stuff? You talked about being a producer, you've started writing. What do you view as like the next step in your pursuit of filmmaking?
I think the next step in my pursuit of filmmaking, where I'm really laser focused, is I would love to get involved in more TV series as an actor. So, dabbling in those recurring roles or even guest star roles or, hey, leads. I'm not going to say no to that if the opportunity came up, but that would be somewhere I'd really like to get into because you have these characters that you get to see a full story from them. Because in film, you're limited to what, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours if you're lucky. But with a series like Shameless, for example, you got to watch all of these people fully grow up.
That's awesome. Um, what would you choose? Like, which one do you truly identify like currently? And is there any change you hope for the future? Actor, improver, what was the other one? Actor, improv, model.
Yeah.
Those three, which one would you say if someone said, tell me which one of these are you? Which one?
Oh, that's a tough question. Hold on, let me think about it. We can edit a long pause, right? Um, I would have to say the base of it would be an actor,
Okay.
because in every single one of those, it does require a performance, even in modeling with, a garment you put on or whatever runway show or shoot is happening. It is a character.
What advice would you give yourself if you could go back 10 years in regards to acting and improv and comedy modeling? What would be your advice?
I think just be okay putting yourself out there and trust your gut with people that you meet and be organized in your materials. I think that's something that makes a huge difference when you do start to build that portfolio, or even if you don't have a portfolio, get together with your friends and make something. Go, like, if you have a camera and you can shoot some digitals or something, do that and send it into an agency. It never hurts to try.
No, I like that. You brought up everything. The one thing I hadn't heard, are you in
Yeah.
commercials?
I've done maybe two commercials. I haven't done a ton. I would love to do more because they're a great time and you work what, maybe 1, 2 days?
Yeah, what commercials were you in?
I did BioLife, the blood plasma place. So that was a really fun shoot. Again, everybody on the set was great. Something I really appreciate about Kansas City as a whole, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, is everybody is so welcoming and supportive. I remember my agent telling me, she was like, "You're lucky you're in Kansas City." She was like, "This is straight up the kindest market you will ever work in." And she was right. Everybody is lovely.
Yeah, that is one thing I've noticed. I probably told this story once before, but um, there was a guy I've worked with. There's a group in Overland Park that I've
Hmm.
done a few things with, and they had people. They bring in people from LA and all over the U.S. besides LA. But I was talking to a guy from LA, and there's a guy from New Mexico there, and they were talking about like supportive environment
Hmm.
in Kansas City, and the guy said New Mexico has the same feel, but LA definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, I have experienced the same things. And I think one thing you can really learn from other people on set
Oh
with
yeah.
what they're doing and their advice, just like you talk about Tiffany with the learning the lines. Um, we were in a movie together. She was one of the main two, and I was the number three, River Beauty. And the
Oh
main
yeah.
guy was from LA, but he's really from Sweden. And he talked about that's how he learns lines, is from the back to the front. And I think she took that on and really liked it. So,
Yeah. And Tiffany is great. She has like that level of positivity that is just contagious. You could be having the worst day of your life, and then when she walks into a room, you're like, oh, everything's great. Never mind. I'm better.
yeah, I heard her refer to it on one of her little comedy sticks as I have customer service energy.
But like genuine customer service energy.
That's right. Do you have any like comedy things that you can do? And I know you're not ready for it, but anything that you could do, any jokes that you typically tell that you could tell now? If not, it's okay, but if you do, here's your chance.
I don't have any like specific jokes, but I can shill some shows right now, if that's okay. I do
Sure.
have some comedy shows coming up. So the
Absolutely.
Anarchy Fun Time show at the Bird, I'm a writer and performer for. We are doing a special called the Bedtime Show. So every sketch in this show will take place in a bedroom. So that was a really fun writing challenge to have. And then we have our Halloween special coming up. So there's some good stuff.
That's awesome. And I tell you, I'm really am I'm excited for you that you're going to the UK to perform. I'm excited for you. I think that's
Thank you.
fantastic. So you've traveled all around the country, it sounds like, performing. What do you do when you're not um, performing? What do you do? What's your hobby?
So I think there's a common theme here of a little bit of everything. So I, again, love aerial silks. That's something that's really fun for me. Anything nature related, love going on hikes, love going to the botanical gardens. I love to bake. That's something that's really fun for me. Trying to get better about cooking, but baking's just more fun for me. And then for work, I also work as a women's fitness instructor, which is a blast and again a great community of people. And then I also teach English as a second language, which I absolutely love.
Oh, wow. Do you speak any other languages?
I grew up with a little bit of German, so that's kind of always in the back of my head, but there's nothing that I'm like fully fluent in, but I'm trying to get better about it.
I thought you were going to say Croatian.
There's definitely a little bit of that in there, but it would all have to be censored. There,
So how did you grow up with German then?
there was also like Austrian in my background too, so that was a huge thing for me.
Very interesting. One more thing. I asked you for advice for yourself, so it might be very similar, but any advice if someone said, I want to become an actor in Kansas City, what should I do? What would be your answer?
I think one of the most important things is finding some kind of community, some group of people where you are all kind of at similar levels and have similar goals and you can all support each other because I feel like that's what's gotten me to where I am now is finding all of these great little communities of people where we're like, okay, we all have each other's backs and even when we're not working together, we are still cheering for each other on all of the different things that we're doing and it's an incredible feeling to have.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What are your words of wisdom to us as we wrap it up? Tell me your words of wisdom.
Oh, just general words of
Word,
wisdom.
general words of wisdom.
I think something that has served me very well is having the ability to not take things personally and just letting things go. Obviously, pay attention. Sometimes in situations, we are the problem. But a lot of times, it's nothing personal, especially in casting. That was somewhere where I would beat myself up so much in the beginning like, oh, what did I do wrong Was it this? Was it that? And a lot of times, and I learned this from being on the other side of that casting room and being in casting myself, it just comes down to little things like, oh, maybe this wasn't the look that we were going for. Maybe there's another cast member who has better chemistry with someone we've already cast. Um, so a lot of times, like, it's nothing to do with you, just let it go.
That's wonderful advice. Anything you wanted to talk about that I didn't bring up or that you wanted to make sure you said today?
No, I think we covered all of it. Part of why I was so excited to do this interview, because I've seen some of the other podcast interviews and I know you're very thorough and do your research, and you absolutely did.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. Are you going to be at the IFCKC tonight?
I might. I will
Okay.
have to double check. I don't
Well,
have,
I'll see you there if you're there. I don't go to that many, but I
yeah.
go to a few a year. I'm going to be there tonight. So have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for the interview. All
Great talking to you.
right, you too. Bye bye.